What is up, everybody? I hope everybody is well. I'm going to try to make a couple of videos today. So let's get into it. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. On my way for a walk, so I decided to make a couple of videos here. Again, if there's anything you want me to talk about, make sure you send it to me via email, which is always in the description, and all that. And so if you want to buy me some lunch too, right, that's in the description as well. Cash App, Venmo. Always appreciate the donations, the lunch donations. All right. So we're going to talk about a situation here that I was asked to speak about, and that is the whole corn and sedated male. Now, it was really they wanted me to talk about the corn and the issues that go along with it. Now, I can remember back years ago, there was always this idea that it can be, adult movies can have some type of educating effect. They can help you to deal with not know how, again, education, spice things up, get things going, start the engines revving, that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying any of that is not true here. Wipe off my thing here. Might have had a little bit of smudge on it. Hopefully that's better. Smudge on my camera. So I'm not saying that any of that is necessarily a negative. However, what is a negative is when you become so addicted to it or so accustomed to it that you can no longer perform in real life. So this is a video I'm going to show. I think I have the video here. A snippet of the video here that I'm not going to play. So we'll get into it right now.
And you just think about like what kind of damage that could do. My life is ruined, man. I'll never get that picture perfect family, white picket fence. Because I can't fucking love. I can't feel fucking anything, man. God, I just wish I was allowed to be a kid, man. Like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? I was a normal, healthy kid with normal sex drive, and I was taught to suppress it, man. And you want to know what the most twisted part of all this shit is? I'm not even sexually attracted to girls in real life. And you want to know how I know that, man? Because I get erectile dysfunction whenever I try to get with a girl. I'm like damaged, man. I'm like disaffected, and it fucking sucks.
So you're not attracted to him, bro. You just got ED. You desensitized, dog. Your body's fucking confused, and this is the effect of corn, right?
So this brother, as we can see, was, I guess he's a successful YouTuber, does workout videos. I don't know who he is. I'm talking about the white guy in the video. The other guy is doing the reaction. The black dude is doing the reaction. And so I was asked to comment on it. So it's my opinion that the original video there is a skit, maybe, but we could take it as is real. That's just my opinion that it's a skit. So if it's not a skit, then okay. So again, this guy's a successful YouTuber. He's putting himself out there saying that he's admittedly a successful YouTuber, 600,000 viewers, muscle stuff. And then when he goes to be intimate with a real person in real life, he can't perform. And this is a thing. This is a thing. And I often wonder why it's not talked about. What is this? Much more than it is. And come on, man. If we got to go around, just go around, dude. If you follow me, you know exactly what my frustration is. Jesus. So, listen. We got to we got to kind of deal with this type of thing, right? So and I don't know why it's not seen as a bigger deal than it is. There's been some papers written about it, and I think it's probably the prevalence of it, right? How many people are actually dealing with PIDE or porn induced erectile dysfunction. Replace the C with the P, and that's what you get pied from. So how many guys are dealing with that, right? And they don't know how big it is and how big of a problem that it is, and this, that, and the other. Some of the studies that have been tried to been looked at, or people tried to look into doing these different studies around corn, right? I read reports where they couldn't find a control group. In other words, when they try to figure out who's watching it versus who's not watching it, they couldn't find anybody who's not watching it, or at least hadn't watched it, or at one time or another. There's obviously somebody on the planet, in particular, I would assume some ladies who are not watching it and all that. But the vast majority of guys are watching it, whether they're occasionally, frequently, whatever. So listen, again, and what are the prevalence of those who are rabid consumers of it, who then develop this pied issue where they can no longer perform with a real person in real life? So I was asked my opinion about it and asked to speak about it because, yeah, it's an issue, it's a problem, and I don't think it's a big enough problem, and I think it's one of embarrassment. And I think that this guy on the video certainly had an issue, had some type of issue. Now, if it's real, then he really put himself out there and said, hey, you know what? I need to, deal with this, and I'm having a crash out moment, having a breakdown moment, and really trying to put myself out there and all that. But unfortunately, he's not the only one who has dealt with this, who is dealing with this, and who's going to deal with this. This is a real, actual phenomenon that guys are really dealing with. Not just the ED part of it, but there's the delayed ejaculation type of thing, right? Or you just can't seem to get off. Or there's another situation where the grip strength, right? I think it's called like the death grip or something like that, right? You can't, you as a guy can grip yourself far tighter than the walls that you're entering. So I'm saying all that to say you got to, in the best way possible, to really try to have you drastically cut back on it if this is an issue for you, and really try to deal with real life. Now, there's other things that go along with this. Here's the rub to all this, pun intended. Here's the rub to all this is that there's a couple of things I want to kind of relate this to, not only about that particular aspect of it, but there's the other aspect of it of when you are with a real person versus what you're seeing and dealing with or seeing in the movies, right? There's smells that are involved with a real person. There's touch, other senses are involved versus your visual and your auditory. There's your touch, your smell, all that is it should be arousing you, and it's not. And when you get acclimated to the screen is just a 2D kind of thing. There's not much interaction. You kind of just sit back. You're a passive observer, and you're not active in it. And your expectations gets warped. Every woman isn't built like that. Every woman, their hair is not going to be done. They're going to want to do it with bonnets, and they're going to want to, they're not going to be dressed in high heels all the time. And it's, so your expectations get desensitized, get warped, get distorted. So these are some issues, and and it causes what's a hijacking of the dopamine system, your reward system that's going on in your brain, your neurotransmitters and all that kind of stuff. And what's telling the body is that there's a certain way to get off, and there's a certain reward system that goes on. And this is again the issue that a lot of people are having with their addictions to just their phones, just in general. I saw a teacher. I don't know if I still have it, but I sent it. If I have it, I'll play it. Maybe. I don't know if I want to attach that to this. But anyway, the point of what I'm saying is that a lot of teachers are noticing the same type of effect when it comes to their students. The students can't sit still. They are, they're bouncing all over the chairs. They don't have attention spans longer than 5-10 minutes. Again, I'm not an educator or anything like that, but this is some of the things I'm hearing, understanding about what's going on with the students in their relation to, the hijacking of the brain that's been going on. So, this is a problem that is going on, within our adult society, with our kids. And this phone, a lot of people are setting phone timers, and making sure that you do something so other than waking up and just automatically going to your phone, looking at TikTok, Instagram, or social media, or whatever. I can remember, I'm old enough to remember, when this phenomenon first started with the Blackberries. And they used to call it crackberries because people were looking at their phones all the time. Now we went from crackberries to this is just a normal phenomenon that is now affected. And I'm not talking about normal as in okay. I'm talking about a lot of other people are dealing with this phenomenon that is going on. So I talked about the adult male problems that have been going on. I don't know enough to speak intelligently about the female issues that may be going on as well. Their desensitization to the adult movies. I do know. I've heard that they maybe get desensitized to the little friends, their bobs, the battery operated boyfriends. So then when you're with the guy in real life, then you can't, he can't perform the way that the battery operated. He doesn't have the physical motion to it. As good as they are, then they just don't have it. So, we got to watch all this desensitization and all this kind of stuff. Oh, the glove. Kind of chilly out. Gotta wear my gloves. So we talked about the issues that men are having, issues that children are having. And let me just say this off again here. This whole phone phenomenon and social media phenomenon, it is, this is what I want to bring this to the sedated male here. Sedated males who are playing video games all day, sedated males who are watching their funny movies all day, 1 and 2, addicted to their phones, addicted to funny movies, addicted to the screens, they are dealing with, they are becoming the sedated males that a lot of women are complaining about. These guys aren't driven enough. This is the college lack of success that is going on, the college attendance. And then also, sedated males aren't a problem for the hierarchy in society. If you become disengaged with what's going on in the community, then you are not paying attention. You're disengaged. You're not going to vote. You're not going to turn up at different functions, meetings, school board meetings. You're uninvolved, and uninvolved males were a problem before, right? If they weren't being heard. This is what the French Revolution, American Revolution. These were males who were involved in what was going on. Even the slave revolts, the attempted slave revolts in the U.S. and Caribbean and all that, right? These were males who were disaffected, and when they didn't get what they wanted, they overthrew. We're not seeing that today. And I'm not saying I'm calling for the overthrow of any government. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that involved males are gatekeepers and watchers of that type of thing. And we have, intentionally or unintentionally, doesn't really matter, there is now a sedating, calming effect to those types of males who would be more vigilant, who would be more politically active, who would be more astute as to their surroundings. And this is so that's why I think a lot of times they don't really care. Their eyes on it, right? These people who are in power, they may act stupid and they may do some stupid things, but certainly they are not uninformed and unaware, right? The whole manosphere red pill space is supposedly being watched by the U.S. government, on watch lists and all that. And I went to the FBI and Homeland Security websites. I couldn't see it. I did see a paper that was written about it. Whatever. But anyway, I'm not doubting that they're being watched. I'm not doubting that all of us being watched in some shape, form, shape, or fashion. However, I'm saying, you got to watch the sedated male. He's sedated today in his basement, in his mama's basement, on his couch, sitting around playing video games, um, uninvolved, unconcerned, watching his screens. Right? Remember what? Right? What was it? Incredibles 2 was about that. Or slaver, right? Screensaver, something. Um, that was the whole premise of that. So we need a superhero to come down here and get us out. Break the goggles off of us so we can see the whole world correctly. Yeah, that's what the Invincibles 2 was about. So I'm saying, listen, if you're a man and you come across this, or you know someone else who's come across this, or maybe you're a woman who's recognized that maybe my son, my nephews, my cousins are dealing with this. They'd rather play video games. They'd rather be sitting in their home rather than go outside, build forts, build castles, wrestle, play swords, build tree houses. That was all the stuff that boys used to do, and now they don't know how to do all that anymore. They're right, and they don't know how to do that. Then they're not out there intermingling with girls, right? Having conversations and teasing them and doing all the things that we used to do, and now we don't know how to function anymore. Somebody asked me I've been asked a couple of times about my thoughts about the Mouse Utopia experiment, and maybe I'll do it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm saying that to say, we got to watch this. So if you come across this, think about where you are. Think about where your children are, your nephews, cousins, brothers, whatever. Think about where they are and really understand, would they rather sit around doing nothing, quote unquote? Are they involved? Are they playing too many video games? Are they sedated? Would they rather not deal with women because they are in whatever place that they are mentally? Or are they more active? And again, I'm linking to this sedation. I'm linking this sedation to adult movies, to screen time, to video games, sedation to not seeing the world that is as it is. Think about the Incredibles 2 movie. Seeing the world the way that it is, and then not being involved in the world to help make political decisions. Because if you don't vote, you're sitting on your couch because you don't think that the world it doesn't matter. It mattered before when these revolutions and revolts were going on. It mattered before, and they mattered to them. So therefore, they did something about it. But if you're sitting in your house in your basement all day, not only are you not equipped to talk to a woman, not only are you equipped not to physically be with a woman because you can't perform, but then you're not physically equipped or mentally equipped to deal with the real world as it is. So that's where I wanted to bring this to. So listen, stop being sedated, get outside, go outside, touch grass, go outside for a walk, get some sunlight, get some real actual vitamin D, and then you can give your vitamin D to a woman. Much love and peace, everyone. All right, as I was editing this on my walk here, there was a few things I thought were essential to say, and I did not say them. I tried to leave it off in a cute little quip about vitamin D, but I recognize I didn't say everything I need to say. If you are in this position as a man, you find out that you are unable to perform. Life isn't over, as the video that I put up there. You can recover. They say after 3 months, 6 months, 3 to 6 months, depending on how severe your issue is, you can bounce back to normal. The brain will heal itself. So what you can do, there are online forums and communities, and maybe booting up your computer or looking at your screen is too much of a temptation to easily click onto another tab and be right back where you started. So maybe seek professional help, or maybe limit your screen time as much as possible. Or, there's so many other ways. There's YouTube videos by persons who are far more educated, who are therapists and all that, who have started these different videos and have seminars and sessions, and you can sign up for their stuff and all that kind of stuff, so you can recover. You can get out of that issue, out of that problem that you're into. So don't think that just because you're in the situation today that it's over. The young guy was, whatever he was, 25 years old, said it's over. It's not over. 3 months abstinence, 6 months abstinence, your brain will recover. A part of that, this is why I wanted to link to the dopamine effect. Part of that is linked to, you have to rewire your brain so it's seeking other natural dopamines. The reward system, the dopamine is a reward system that that your brain is going after. So it goes after, it tells you it wants this, it's craving this, so you can get a reward. So you have to train it to now go after the reward of an actual real woman or actual real life, lifting weights, running a marathon, accomplishing something on the outside. Those are things that are reward system that will feed your system. So you have to kind of rewire your brain on a number of different avenues. That's why I wanted to link the screen saving or the screen watching, screen consuming with other reward systems. So it's not just about the adult movies. You have to kind of rewire your whole brain to be outside and to enjoy life, to smell the roses, go to the gym, other things that are going to tell your brain, hey, this feeling is good. So it's not over. Don't ever think it's over. Don't wallow in this pit of self-pity and say, woe is me. You can recover, particularly if you can recover, period. So yeah, for young guys who started watching when they're 9 or 10 and now they're 25, it's going to be an issue. It might even take a year. Again, there's people who are far more advanced in this area than I am, so seek them out. But you can recover. You can recover. So life isn't over. So let me leave it off there. Till next time, much love and peace.